Welcome, Aries. Thank you for joining me for your November monthly forecast for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. This month begins dramatically. The two ruling planets of Scorpio are actually in conflict. We also have three planets, well, the Sun being the luminary, but we also have Mercury and Venus in the sign of Scorpio too. Scorpio is the 8th zodiac sign, and for you, it's very much to do with passion. It's to do with commitment. It's to do with sensuality. In a more mundane way, it is to do with bricks and mortar, business, wills, legacies, and insurances. So if you're somebody who's very keen to make progress in a physical context of your life this month, there certainly are some things to go for. And there are also some potential gotchas. The first comes in the guise of that right angle between Mars and Pluto, but also Mercury, the planet of communication, is tracking backwards in the sign of Scorpio too. So let's unpick this. The Sun in the sign of Scorpio is very much about transformation. It's an exciting transit through this part of your situation because it gives you the opportunity to root out of your world the things that are no longer working. But I do think there can be some kind of clash or tension in the first 9 days of this month with someone in a position of seniority or authority, or if you're someone who has that kind of role, it could be someone who's going to test the boundaries with you. If we think about it, Mars and Pluto together is quite an impulsive influence. Mars in your 7th house, as the month begins, has been giving you extra confidence in the previous 4 weeks to firm up your boundaries, be a bit feistier about relationships, or if you're single, be a bit more acquisitive about who you could get to know. But Pluto is right at the top of your chart in the midheaven, which is about conservative traditionality. It is to do with the management of situations. And for you, it has been helping you since 2008 to recast your goals, but particularly in the last couple of years as Saturn has been making its way through this sector too. So this clash suggests that there could be some tensions between what you want from a relationship and what someone else wants. And in an ongoing romantic tie, if something has got out of balance and someone is being a little bit too passive or a little bit too assertive, that may need to be retuned. Now, part of it may be that you're just very busy in the practical elements of your situation and you need the support of people around you, whether that's your parents, if you have them, or other guardians or caregivers, or whether it's you that is straining every sinew to help someone, but they may be resistant to the type of support that you can give them. And of course, Mercury in retrograde can up the potential for crosswires and misunderstandings. It's undeniable. But on the 2nd, Venus moves into an excellent location for you, shifting into the sign of Sagittarius. This is a chance for you to think about the truth of your relationships, but it's also going to be forging a quite magnificent link from the 12th through to the 17th with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, and good fortune. So if you're wanting to meet somebody new this month and you're single, this combination suggests it may be by being in a different environment, by being open to someone who comes from a different background to you, or through travel, a holiday, or a new interest. But it's certainly a delightful alliance and one which can be very fortunate. But also on the 4th, we have a quarter moon in the democratic sign of Aquarius. Now, around your group associations, over the following week, if you do encounter any politics or backbiting, or you feel that someone isn't quite as upfront as they could be, it could really be quite underwhelming for you. Get you down, actually, quite a bit. So just be cautious about what's being said to you. Remember, with Mercury retrograde, it doesn't necessarily mean that what you're being told is absolutely the case. But Mercury retrograde in Scorpio gives you the ability to don your detective mac and try to divine what's what, and that means not taking things at surface level. Getting beneath that is really what's going to help to guide you. Now, from the 5th to the 12th, the Sun in Scorpio makes a stunning angle to Saturn, and then from the 11th to the 17th to Pluto. So despite the fact that Mars aggravates Pluto in the first week of this month, essentially, there is the potential for you to gain, especially if you're patiently, steadfastly working towards any big goals and aims, because that's the material plane of Capricorn. And because the Sun in the sign of Scorpio is seeing you decipher what is really worth focusing on, I feel this can be a time of substantial improvements, solid changes, as you sift out what no longer serves your greater purpose. However, it is true by the 12th we have a full moon in the sign of Taurus, which is very much about the more sensual side of life. It's about your self-worth, but it obviously is in opposition with the Sun in your 8th house. It's possible in the next couple of weeks you may have to just cut back on certain expenditure in order to make sure that you trim things enough to stay within your budget. But there is going to be an exciting change in the last part of this month, which could see you break out of that more cautious mode. But I think at that time, just be aware that it is going to be important to make sure that things are in budget. However, the second house is very much about how you feel about yourself, your self-worth. And this can come under scrutiny. And it's absolutely vital that you do feel good about yourself, whatever your situation. However, there is also on the 19th that sensational change which sees Mars, your ruler, move into Scorpio too. Now, Mars also governs Scorpio along with Pluto, and in the last 10 days of this month is going to go into an opposition with Uranus, the planet of surprises. And this can make you much more impetuous around your love life, but also around your spending decisions. But there is also a beautiful link from the 6th to the 11th between the Sun and Neptune. And I think that's saying to you that whatever decisions that you do make in the run-up to that full moon, do listen to your sixth sense. It won't fail you. And actually, weirdly, the Sun, Mars's opposition, with Uranus, can also see you make some snap decisions, listening to your instincts, which could work out really well. It could bring out the ultimate gambler in your nature. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you gamble for pleasure, but I mean in terms of a business opportunity, or if you meet somebody that you really get a spark and arc of deep attraction to, and you find your pulses racing, it could see you deciding to be a little bit more daring, and that actually can be very life enhancing. The 23rd also sees the Sun power its way into your sister fire sign of Sagittarius. So that's going to be picking up too from the energy of Jupiter and also Venus. So there's a much more open, more expansive, freewheeling, independent side of your nature is going to start to flow through after what has been a highly intense period. And of course, also on the 19th, Mercury ends that retrograde. If there has been something that's been tangled around a financial matter, it could well resolve itself by then, or you may just have to wait into the early parts of December. But what I would say is that on the 26th, there is a new moon in Sagittarius, which really gives you a huge gust of following wind into your sails to push you forwards, to see you that much more daring. But Venus also moves on the same day, climbing into Capricorn, where it's much more somber, much more sensible around resources, which Venus governs, as well as relationships. And even if there has been some kind of impulsive attraction to someone or the impulse around a spending decision, Venus brings calmness, but also it could see you connecting with someone of wisdom. In a romantic context, it could see you making a fateful decision to get much more committed to someone, or even think about getting a property together. It's a really exciting change. So as the month draws to a close, the primary energy is about being much more free-spirited, going with it, just going with the flow, letting the more independent side of your nature come through. But that wonderful electric energy between Mars and Uranus cannot be underestimated. If you do have some kind of sexual attraction to someone during that period of time, it might be quite fleeting. I can assure you it will not be dull. It depends on the type of person you are, because of course you're an Aries, and of course you can listen to your instincts and you do like to initiate things, but each Aries is different. You may have a Pisces ascendant, you may have something very different in terms of your moon. Although Mercury and Venus are often close to the Sun, they won't always be in your sign. So it just depends what's going on for you personally. But I think as this month draws to a close, there's a little bit of an impishness about you, which really can see you feeling really alive. And that can be hugely stimulating. And even if you do push the boundaries a little bit as November comes to a close. What will 2020 hold for you as an individual? I mean, not based on your zodiac sign of Aries, but based on your natal birth chart. Why not let me prepare your forecast for you? If you order it now, you'll get the rest of 2019 free, and you'll get 30% off. Please see the link beneath this video. But for now, good luck, Aries, and goodbye.